what's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's video I'm pretty excited to tell you about the latest iteration of bone conduction headphones from SHOKZ. Now if you're not already aware, SHOKZ has gone through a bit of a rebranding. It is their 10-year anniversary and they have just shortened their name from AfterShokZ down to SHOKZ. And if you're wondering about the reason why they did this, well, one is that they're following the trends in the headphone market industry, and another is that in other languages AfterShokZ was very difficult to say. So by shortening it down to SHOKZ, we're just making everyone happy. It is still the same fabulous product. And if you have been watching this channel for a while, you know that I have been a big fan of SHOKZ. Now, as well as just shortening the name, they have made a few changes as far as branding of their existing products. I have been using these. These have been called the Aeropex, but they have been rebranded to the Open Run. Now, the new Open Run are not identical to the Aeropex. SHOKZ has added a quick charge feature, and basically the new Open Run that have just been released now charge in an hour, and you can get an hour and a half of listening time by just 5 minutes of charge time. But we're not talking about the Open Run today. We are talking about the Open Run Pro, and this is SHOKZ premium pro level, top of the line pair of bone conduction headphones. Let's get into it. All right, my friends, I do not want you to panic. If these are not available where you live right now, don't worry. They're going to be coming over the next couple months. These were just announced at CES 2022. They are brand new. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the specs. I'm going to be telling you guys what they're good for, who they're good for, and basically what I think about them. Now, because these are so new, they've only been out for a couple of weeks after the filming of this video, and I've only been using them for a couple of weeks. But as I already said, I have been using my Aeropex for the last 2 years, so I'm pretty familiar with bone conduction technology. And I'm not going to make you go back and watch some of my older videos, but basically I said that the Aeropex were the #1 headphones for runners. Well, let me just tell you guys, if the Aeropex / Open Run were the best running headphones available, that time has come and gone, because we now have the Open Run Pro. So right now the Open Run Pro retail for $180 here in the US. And that price may be a bit expensive, but it definitely represents the steps that SHOKZ has taken forward in the sound quality and the overall experience you get from these headphones. So when you open the box, you do get your headphones in a handy carrying case. Now, guys, look at this. They're just, I like this, but it is just a little big. And while I like having the case and the protection, honestly, I haven't put my headphones back in this case until right before I started making this video, so I could show you the headphones in the case and I could actually open it up on camera. There we go. Totally worth it. Now I won't use that case again. But of course, if you were traveling and you were going to be throwing this around, throwing it in a suitcase, it's just a great way to protect the Open Run Pro. But also, saying that, I found them to be pretty durable. They are one piece. They're connected by a titanium band that is covered in a lovely smooth rubber. And I have just thrown these in my bag and they've always come out fine. So I guess what I'm saying is I hate being precious with things, and I really hate stuff that demands that I be precious with it. And while I do appreciate getting a nice carry case, I appreciate even more a product that doesn't need to go in the case. And for me, I don't keep these in the case. I haven't found they really need it. So guys, there is a lot of new tech that has gone into the Open Run Pro. SHOKZ is now using their 9th generation bone conduction technology, and they call this technology SHOKZ Turbo Pitch. And let me just dumb this down to make it really easy for you. The sound quality is better in the Open Run Pro than it ever has been in any bone conduction headphones before. SHOKZ has included 2 added bass enhancers. Over-the-ear headphones and in-ear headphones, they really can't be compared against bone conduction headphones because they are ideally used for 2 different things. Now, of course, all headphones are good for listening to music. They're good for listening to audiobooks, for podcasts, and in the Venn diagram, the 2 circles are going to overlap each other a lot. But with over-the-ear headphones or in-ear headphones, you're going to get a much more immersive experience. And with bone conduction, specifically these Open Run Pro, you can see that my ear is still open to the elements. It's open to all the sound that's coming in. Now, these things right in front of my ears that are resting on my cheekbone, these are the transducers. And these are sending vibrations to my inner ear through the bone. I am hearing the sound, but my ears are still open to hear all the other sound around me. And this is what makes these the best running headphones that you can buy. It ultimately comes down to safety. Because when I'm out running, if I'm running on the road, I want to know if there's a car coming up behind me. I want to be able to maintain situational awareness when I'm out running late at night, early in the morning, when it's dark. And for me, I run most of the time, but if you are a cyclist, these are the only headphones that you should be wearing. Your ears need to be open to hear what's going on around you. Now, a lot of you might be saying, what about transparency mode? My friends, it's not the same. Transparency mode just doesn't let in the full amount of sound around you. If you want to be the most aware, you have to have your ears open. Okay, so now we know how they work. Now we know how they compare. There is that overlap. All headphones, they all listen well to music. Now on the ends of the Venn diagrams, the area that are not covering each other, we have the areas where each excel. And I've already talked about the bone conduction on one side because your ears are open to the elements, you're able to hear everything around you. And on the other side, with the in-ear and over-ear headphones, we have the immersive experience. So if you are on a train, if you are on an aircraft, you're probably going to want over-ear headphones or in-ear headphones to drown out that ambient noise. But for all other situations, especially sports, especially when we're out running and we need to maintain our safety, we need to maintain awareness, these excel. Okay, let's talk about battery life because that is where SHOKZ has made some big improvements. The Open Run Pro will last for 10 hours. Now, in my testing, they lasted for longer than 10 hours, but 10 hours is on the spec sheet, so that's all I'm going to say. I wasn't doing a big scientific experiment with all the variables controlled. I wore these throughout the day on a 12-hour shift so I could test out how comfortable they were in the long term, and I wanted to test the battery life. I wanted to just run them constantly. So as far as comfort goes, they remained on my ears and I forgot about them, which I think is the highest praise that I can give them. They are just incredibly comfortable, they sit tight, and there's no way they're coming off. You know that annoying feeling when you put in-ear earbuds in your ears and you go for a run and you start to sweat and you can feel the earbuds kind of slipping out? You're never going to have that problem with the Open Run Pro because they are firmly attached to your head, but not too firmly that it causes discomfort. It's really in the Goldilocks zone of earphone comfort and security. So I've already said we have 10 hours of listening to music, listening to calls. We also have a quick charge mode that I already mentioned in the Open Run, but it's also on the Open Run Pro. If you find that the battery is totally dead and that voice in your ear, Audrey, seriously, the voice that comes on and tells you when it's pairing, when you're turning it on, her name is Audrey. SHOKZ, if you end up watching this video for any reason, I want to know how you came up with the name Audrey. I want to know who it's named after. Who am I listening to? It's pretty handy to be able to charge for 5 minutes and get an hour and a half of listening time, but the Open Run Pro is charged by a proprietary charger, and I happen to have it right here because it's something I really wanted to show you. And for those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you are going to know how much I get a kick out of this. Ooh, you see that? Let me do it again. Oh, yes. That is satisfying. It's a magnet, guys. This cord is magnetized and it just slots right in beautifully to the charging port on the Open Run Pro. Is that my favorite thing about these headphones? Maybe not, but it's right up there. Now, SHOKZ also has some technology which prevents the sound from leaking out. Sound leakage. And they have titled that technology, appropriately enough, Leak Slayer. And basically this technology stops the sound from leaking out. Now, it isn't perfect. When I have the volume turned up all the way, I've had my wife close by listening and she can kind of hear what's going on. She can tell that I'm listening to something, but it's still a big improvement over the Open Run. Now, the Open Run Pro also features dual noise cancelling microphones, and they work like a dream. When a call comes in and you're speaking to someone while these are on, it just sounds beautifully crisp and clear. It really takes care of that outside noise so the people you're talking to don't hear everything else going on around you. I think this is probably one of my favorite features on the Open Run Pro. And you can actually see on the transducers, we've got little fine mesh over the transducers, and that's allowing those dual noise cancelling microphones to work. It's also allowing the added bass enhancers to work, so you get a little bit of air movement moving through. Now, because we have these fine vents on the transducers, the waterproof rating has been reduced from the Open Run. The Open Run Pro is rated at IP55. My Aeropex, now called the Open Run, were rated at IP67. But even though that these are a little lower, IP55 protects from jets of water from a 6.3mm nozzle from any angle. That's a pretty big jet of water. So I guess what I'm saying is IP55 is absolutely fine for sweating, getting caught in the rain. And I'll be honest with you, when I'm done with these and they're totally soaked in sweat, they're all wet, I have just been running them under the tap and they've been absolutely fine. So while with most things I like to see a higher number for, I don't know, an unknown reason, just because bigger numbers are better than smaller numbers, IP55 is perfectly suitable. It fits the bill. These are going to stand up for whatever you can throw at it while you're riding, while you're running. I mean, don't go swimming in them. SHOKZ has other headphones for swimming. So you know what, while I've got you guys in front of me, I have your attention, let's do a little bit of an audio test with these Open Run Pros. So right now I'm going to switch to the Open Run Pro, and now you are listening to me using the mics on the Open Run Pro. And what do you think? It sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good whether you're on the phone, whether you're doing pretty much anything. Anything where you are talking using these as the mic, they work pretty well. In fact, the next time I do, I don't know, a live stream, haven't done one of those in a while, or the next time I'm chatting to someone else, maybe doing an interview, I'm going to use these and see how they stand up long term. But for the phone calls that I've used them for, these have been pretty fantastic. SHOKZ has also added an app so you can control the Open Run Pro. Now, this is pretty good because it allows you to switch between certain modes, so whatever you're listening to, you're getting the best audio possible. So when you download the app to your device, you're going to be given two options. You're going to have standard mode or vocal mode. Standard mode offers a balanced frequency when you're listening to music, and vocal mode offers an enhanced intermediate frequency for listening to the spoken voice. So that's going to be ideal if you're listening to audiobooks or podcasts. And because we have the app, we also have multi-point pairing. Now, multi-point pairing allows you to connect the headphones to two devices simultaneously. So right now I have it connected to my iPad and I have it connected to my phone. So if I'm editing videos on my iPad and a call comes in, the headphones will automatically switch over to the phone. And then when I hang up the call, it goes back to the iPad and I can continue listening while I'm editing my videos. Now, right now, the OpenRun Pro are brand new, but SHOKZ has kind of future-proofed them because now, through the app, you are able to upgrade the firmware. SHOKZ has increased the size of the buttons that control the volume up and down and the button that turns it on and off. That just makes it a lot easier. So when they're on your ear, you're not fumbling around trying to find the rocker pad that turns up the volume and turns down the volume. We also have this multi-function button on the left side transducer, and that button, when it's on your head, just sits right in front of your left ear. It's very easy just to bring your finger up and control the headphones. And the multi-function button works by pressing once to play, once to pause. You double tap to move forward a track, you triple tap to move back a track. If the phone rings while you're listening to music, you answer it by pressing once, and then you hang up by pressing once again. Pretty easy, right? Guys, I have to point this out to you because not a lot of headphones offer volume control in the actual headphones. So this is huge. This is huge for me when I'm out running and there's a song that I want to crank up, or there's a lot of traffic and I want to turn it down so I can really focus on what's around me. It is so nice to be able to just reach up and control the volume using my right hand. Let me know in the comments if you have used the SHOKZ headphones, what you think of bone conduction technology, and I really want to know what you listen to when you go out for a run. In my opinion, these are the new best running headphones that you can buy. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.